I'm Farhana, and this is my father and my mother. And together, we are from Team Alpha.
So here's a quick question for you. Have you ever wondered how your body responds to pain so quickly? For example, how does your hand pull itself away from a sharp needle or a hot iron in just milliseconds after touching them? Do your body parts actually have a brain of its own? Let's join us by watching this video and unravel that mystery today. But before that, let me explain to you some of the important terms I am going to use repeatedly in the video. The human nervous system can be divided into two parts, namely the central nervous system, which includes the brain and the spinal cord, and the second one being the peripheral nervous system, basically portion of the nervous system that runs elsewhere outside the brain and the spinal cord. If you have never heard of spinal cord before, it is a long, thin bundle of nervous tissue that is connected to the brain and runs down the neck and the back. A sensory neuron transmits impulses or electrical signals from the receptors to the central nervous system. Meanwhile, a motor neuron transmits the signals from the central nervous system to the effectors. Effectors mentioned might be muscles, glands, or blood vessels. Interneurons relay messages from sensory to motor neurons. To make the learning process interesting and memorable, we are going to use this Hot Wheels model to replicate the pain reflex pathway. In this case, the contact with hot iron or sharp needle induces pain, which is the unpleasant sensation that we feel. Following this pain, the immune cells at the area affected become triggered, and hence they produce signaling chemicals to be sent to the pain receptors. Imagine the car launcher of this model as the pain stimulant. The car here is a super quick superhero, just like the fictional character The Flash. No matter how powerful the car is, it will still need enough fuel for it to move and help the hand in pain. The fuel nozzle here represents the immune cells that release fuel or signaling chemicals for the car's engine or the pain receptors to function. Moving on, the orange part of the track represents the sensory neuron, and the curve basically shows how the nerve impulses are transmitted by the sensory neuron along the peripheral nervous system before it reaches the central nervous system. Remember that the brain is the primary decision maker, but as it is not quick enough to save you from the harm, this process occurs in the spinal cord, bypassing the brain for a much faster reflex. Again, imagine the car carrying the message here is in a rush to help the person in pain, so it stops by the pharmacy, which is the spinal cord, to buy an emergency kit. In the spinal cord, the sensory neuron might synapse or transfer the impulse through an intermediate called an interneuron, or even directly to the motor neuron depicted by the blue track here. This motor neuron will then be the one delivering the signal to the effector, in this case the muscles, involved to withdraw the hand from the painful stimulus. So, equally in the model, the car has arrived to deliver the emergency help as required by the person. However, note that the impulses will still travel up to the brain, as you will still need to compute what is actually happening to your hand and take further actions. This might sound a little bit superstitious, but as I mentioned, the car here has its own superpowers. By the time electrical signals are transferred to the interneuron or motor neuron, the car also dashes to carry the impulses to the hospital, which represents the brain. And after processing some information, the impulses are sent to the effectors to make other appropriate reactions. These actions might include shouting to make yourself even more aware of the situation, and perhaps running cold water on the part of the hand affected. These reactions could occur at the same time or just after the reflex arc is performed. We hope that you could understand and remember the pain reflex pathway using the analogy given.